With a release date of October 2023, Assassin's Creed Mirage is right on our doorstep, and from the gameplay trailer, cinematic trailer, and other leaks, we've actually been able to deduce quite a bit of information about the game. In this video, we'll tell you every crucial detail that you need to know about Assassin's Creed Mirage combat ahead of its release. And from the looks of things, combat in Mirage is going to be interesting, to say the least. So you don't want to miss a second of this one. So, shall we take a look? Now, if you're unaware, Mirage is actually going to follow a younger Basim, the assassin who starred in Valhalla. This, coupled with the fact that Mirage was originally intended to be a DLC for Valhalla, has led to some people to believe that the combat in Mirage is going to be completely copy-pasted from the Viking installment, and from the looks of the gameplay trailer, these fears could be true. In the trailer, we see Basim take on a guard in open combat, but the animations were literally the same ones in Valhalla, and it looked overall a little rough around the edges. The problem with combat in Valhalla was that Ubisoft completely overcomplicated it. They almost tried to replicate For Honor style combat and allowed players to pick up literally anything they could find on the ground and use it as a weapon. This meant that Ubisoft had to work on hundreds of different animations, reducing the overall quality of these animations significantly. Valhalla also kind of forced you to use heavy weapons, which is just not a way that Assassin's Creed games work. Players want to take out enemies silently with a blade or a blow dart, not charge in with a warhammer only to spend 15 minutes chipping away at one enemy. These fears could absolutely be true, and the combat could be terrible in Mirage. However, Ubisoft has stated that Mirage is taking a step back to AC roots, with a bigger emphasis on stealth and less focus on open combat. For fans who love the older style of combat, this is good news, as it means that we'll probably be taking a step away from Valhalla's combat. Sure, the animations may look the same, but the actual mechanics will probably be very different, and new leaks in gameplay support this idea. So let's take a look at some of the new mechanics we can look forward to. In Mirage, we're going to get what every Assassin's Creed player loves: sword combat. The game developers have confirmed that Basim's primary weapon is his sword, and open combat will mostly focus on sword fights with enemies. The sword is the bread and butter of Assassin's Creed, so to see sword combat being put at the forefront of Mirage is definitely great news. Now, what is interesting is that some of the mockups and gameplay leaks, Basim appears to dual wield a sword and dagger. In one bit of footage, we even see him block a sword strike with his dagger before striking back with his sword. If dual wielding is actually a thing in Mirage, we could be in for a real treat. I mean, how awesome would it be to block a sword strike and counter underneath with a dagger? What's more is that the developers have seemed to address the concerns that we had about Mirage combat being the same as Valhalla's. In a recent interview, one of the developers explained that because the focus will be on sword fights in Mirage, the animations and overall combat will be much more refined and play a lot better. It was then also explained that Basim is intended to be one of the most elegant assassins in the franchise, with complete mastery of the blade. So hopefully we'll actually get some decent combat in Mirage, and it won't be a complete copy of Valhalla. Of course, Basim will become equipped with the signature hidden blades for silent assassinations, and you'll be able to equip various darts to his blade for added firepower. Now, in this gameplay trailer, we saw a massive selection of tools that players can choose from. These tools range from blow darts to smoke bombs, and unlike other Assassin's Creed games, each tool doesn't appear to be locked to a specific mission. This means that you'll be able to customize Basim's loadout to your unique playstyle and tackle missions in a completely different way from other players. Traps are also going to make an appearance for the first time in Mirage. In the trailer, we saw Basim place down a detection mine, which releases a cloud of smoke when stepped on. Tools like this are going to open up so many new avenues for stealth, combat, and infiltration in Mirage, and you can use the trap to map the movement of a guard or cover your back to stop you from getting flanked, or even just take out a bunch of grouped enemies. Now let's talk a little bit about Assassin's Focus. Assassin's Focus is a new ability that allows you to slow down time and literally teleport to your enemies to take them out. Yeah, I'm not joking. In the gameplay trailer, we see how Assassin Focus works, and from the looks of things, it's going to be an incredibly powerful move. But because it's so powerful, Assassin's Focus will have a heavy cooldown, and if you land in the wrong place when you run out of focus, you can end up being taken out. So it'll be a risky ability, but if you can pull it off, Assassin Focus is going to be one of the most powerful mechanics in Mirage. Now, Mirage is going to get rid of the XP-based progression system that we've been used to for a few years. Instead, the progression system will be more story-driven and linear, for your rank increasing as you complete more story missions. This type of system will probably make it harder to customize Basim's skills to your unique playstyle. However, it'll make the game feel a lot less grindy, as you won't have to complete a dozen missions just to get a few XP points. This system will also help you follow the main story a little easier, which seems to be a massive consideration in Mirage. Now, something notable that the gameplay trailer also showed is that Basim is only able to take a few hits before being taken out. This combat mechanic was used in older games like Assassin's Creed 1, and definitely shows that stealth is the best option when taking out enemies in Mirage. The fact that Basim is less durable is also great for new players who didn't enjoy Valhalla combat. In Valhalla, Basim could take a lot of punishment, which made the game feel a lot less skill-based. To see a high-risk open combat system return is therefore great news. To freshen up the combat system in Mirage, Ubisoft has also worked on a new enemy archetype system. So instead of just encountering guards, you'll now face a bunch of different types of guards like marksmen and swordsmen. This is going to change the way that you approach combat entirely because you will have to target specific enemies to take out first. For example, marksmen will be able to aim at your eagle, so if you want to do some scouting, these guys are going to be your first target. New features like these are just small details that are stacking up to make to what looks like a pretty impressive game. Now, Baghdad isn't just going to be a pretty face in Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's going to help you fight bad guys and escape when you're outnumbered. Ubisoft has confirmed that a large amount of the environment in Mirage will be destructible, so Basim will be able to kick down scaffolding, destroy crates and boxes, and more. We've never really seen the environment play such a big role in Assassin's Creed, so this feature is going to be an interesting one. Now, this feature is primarily going to aid in stealthy situations, but in the cinematic trailer, we did see Basim use the environment and kick an enemy off a high ledge to take him out, suggesting that the environment could play a big role in combat. You could also use it to find new avenues to escape when you're outnumbered. There are a few returning mechanics from Valhalla and even older games in Assassin's Creed Mirage, so let's take a look at them. One of the mechanics that is going to be making a return is chain assassinations. We first saw these in Valhalla, and while they weren't used as much as they should have, they did prove to be very powerful. In the trailer, we see Basim assassinating a target before locking onto another a few steps away. This is really going to help players take the stealthy approach, as you'll be able to take out a group of clustered enemies without alerting anyone else. Parrying and countering also seems to be important mechanics in Mirage. Before Assassin's Creed Origins, countering was one of the most powerful ways to get the upper hand over a tough opponent. But the RPG style titles changed this mechanic to a stagger system, which just wasn't as powerful. Well, of course that's set to change in Mirage. In the gameplay trailer, we see Basim parry an enemy and then execute a lethal sword strike which insta-kills the NPC. This should help make combat more skill-based and elegant, which is what Mirage is all about. There is a possibility that we'll also be able to engage in horse-mounted combat in Mirage. The deluxe edition gives you access to a skin for your mount, suggesting that we'll be able to ride horses. And if we can travel around on horseback, it would only be fair that we get to fight with them too. We've seen horses in Assassin's Creed since the first game, so it's almost a guarantee that they will return in Mirage. So, does the combat in Assassin's Creed Mirage look any good? Well, actually, yeah. Despite the gameplay trailer suggesting that the combat in Mirage is copied completely from Valhalla, Mirage actually looks to have refined and meaningful combat. Because stealth is regaining focus in this game, open combat will be somewhat of a last resort, and engaging multiple enemies will be riskier than ever. But this should actually make combat more enjoyable, and with the humble sword getting the limelight again, we think that combat will feel more like the old games, which is nothing but a good thing. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our recent video analyzing whether Ubisoft has been lying to us and is going to break their promise.